If you're looking to nerd out to a little bit of gladiator training history and want to see what it may look like if they were being trained today, then you have found the right video. Okay, so it took long enough, but after 24 long years, one of my favorite all-time movies, Gladiator, has finally gotten a sequel. And although I saw it and was not all that impressed with it, it led me down the rabbit hole of how exactly gladiators trained to be the professional athletes of their day. And what I discovered after researching a lot of what ancient Roman historians wrote about regarding gladiator training, I was floored about the influence that their training had on modern periodization. And in today's video, I'm going to highlight the methods and some interesting facts I discovered along the way and give you a glimpse of what 1 week's worth of their training may have looked like with a modern twist. First things first, one of the more interesting things I found was that unlike Greeks who prioritized symmetrical aesthetics just as much as function, which is evident when you see images of the classic Greek physiques in paintings and sculptures of, for instance, Spartan warriors, the average ancient Roman gladiator was 100% about function over aesthetics. The way they saw it in the ludus, or the schools where gladiators were trained, was that looks can't kill. Only a well-trained gladiator could. And research actually showed that the average gladiator was likely aesthetically undesirable based on modern tastes and preferences. They were said to have been fed a diet rich enough in beans, barley, dried figs, and whatever game meat was procured from killings in the arena to foster development of a layer of body fat to help insulate them from the constant stabbings, slicings, cuttings, and blunt traumas they'd experience in combat and even sometimes in training. And on top of being a little huskier than what most would think, they'd also almost certainly have had severe muscle asymmetries based on their type of combat and training. You see, they were big into what we would call sport-specific training at these luduses. And because weaponry and protection from said weapons wasn't carbon fiber light like modern day weapons are, the amount of repetition they would have done with this heavier equipment was said to have created some likely crazy aesthetic deformities. And bone scans of exhumed gladiators support this theory. They usually had really thick necks from having to support the large, heavy helmets that they wore during training and during combat, and their non-dominant side that would have held their shield would have had far more muscle mass in the arms and shoulders area than their dominant side that swung their weapon. Bottom line, they may have been lethal instruments of combat, but they most definitely weren't going to win any classic physique bodybuilding contest. With that said, let's talk about their actual training plan. Believe it or not, and straight up I had no clue about this, many historians would argue that the ludus training model of a 4-day split and idea of peaking for competition may have been what influenced modern training periodization. Some say they just stole this system from ancient Greeks that were training for the Olympics, which I tend to agree, but hey, what matters most was that it was developed, survived over time, and evolved into today's intelligent program design. Just thought that was an interesting fact. Anyway, at the root of this training model they used was a 4-day split that they called the tetrad. Here's what each of those 4 days focused on, and for your viewing pleasure, a glimpse of what I think each would look like in modern times. Day 1 was called the preparatory day and focused mainly on developing work capacity and aerobic endurance that the gladiators would need to be able to fight not just their opponent, but diminishing performance in the face of muscular fatigue. What I did to emulate this phase, as you'll see shortly, is bodyweight work, light sandbag work, and some row machine work done on a concept 2 rower. After day 1's preparatory or conditioning day, day 2 of the tetrad was called the inescapable test day. This was basically ancient high-intensity interval training using the weights they utilized back then, which history tells us were sandbags, medicine balls, stones, body weight work, and really whatever other odd objects they may have had access to that would have helped turn them into a beast. As you'll see with my take on it, I utilized sandbags, kettlebells, and even a sledgehammer to keep things fun and fresh. Day 3 of the tetrad was the active recovery or rest day. Yes, even back then, they appreciated the need to recover from the stress placed on their bodies in order to make them see progressions. It wasn't just sitting on their ass though. A lot of the times, historians said they did light labor around the ludus for simple upkeep. So what I do here is just work around the house, do some mobility work and light body weight work to just help get some nutrient-rich blood flowing to the muscles that were trained during previous days to help facilitate faster recovery. And day 4, the final day of the tetrad before starting it all back over, was the skills day, where they'd focus exclusively on weapons and striking work. And to mix things up, because I don't currently train in any striking-based combat sport, I figured I'd give you a glimpse of me putting a few arrows through my bow while my heart rate was elevated to emulate the conditions I'd be facing during crunch time, which for me would be while hunting and when I finally get to draw back and hopefully put an arrow through whatever I'm hunting. Now, with that brief rundown of what each day looks like, here's my take on what a modern approach to that philosophy would look like using modern workouts. Enjoy. Hey guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and want more delivered just like this in the future, then do me a favor before you leave by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, and pressing the alert icon so you get notified the instant every new video drops on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you haven't done so already, then please make sure you join my brand new Kettlebell Warriors Brotherhood for free by clicking either the image that you see right over there to the right, the pinned link at the top of the comment section, or the very first link you see down in the description box below. This brand new community provides a week's worth of follow-along kettlebell workouts led by yours truly, daily accountability, motivation, insider instruction and coaching you'll only find inside there, and overall a more organized, systematic approach to helping you get fast, badass, and most importantly, sustainable results while creating a greater sense of overall mental clarity to help improve your daily decision-making skills, which ultimately helps enrich your life. Bottom line, this service gives you exactly what you need to see the results that have been eluding you for far too long. The daily steps you need to take with both your diet and exercise, and myself holding your ass accountable to following through with each of those actions. So to get free access to it, just click over there or down there and I'll take you to the free registration page. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. MANdler.